All right. Lie-adema warrior time. I've actually gotten out of my way not to watch this video because I've gotten to the point where I cannot stand watching this lady anymore. I've just just everything about her irritates me. So I have just kind of tried to stop watching her I mean, I still like to watch her to react, but that is it. Like I just can't take her unless I'm reacting. So this is my first time watching this video, and let's suffer together. Oops, I got to share the screen. Hold on. Let's suffer together, shall we? Oh, for anybody not aware, Glitter and Lasers has been having liposuction surgeries. She just had her second liposuction surgery. And apparently she's had almost 40 pounds of fat and fluids removed. Let's see how she looks.
Sharing my lipedema journey. And that has been a very vulnerable and kind of scary thing for me.
All right, so go back to the beginning here.
So as y'all know, I have been sharing my lipedema journey. And that has been a very vulnerable and kind of scary thing for me. I'm gonna be very real about it. And part of the reason we've taken some time to put these videos out and they're not exactly happening exactly in real time.
You know something, Nirvana? I have to agree with that because I think a good example is like Queen Heather. Yes, she's got plenty of problems, but at least she comes across bubbly and cheerful at times. And even though she's just as big as some of these other folks, she comes across much more pleasant, right? So I just think that there's definitely a lot to say for giving out a good aura. That definitely does have an impact as well. It's not the only thing. Oh, welcome in, Oranges. Didn't even see it in there tonight. Thank you very much. Lurkers are always appreciated. Yeah, she's just so loud and irritating. Exactly. Yes, that's what we're gonna do.
Time is because I've wanted to put a lot of thought into what we're producing, and then also I wanted to make sure I was answering the questions I was receiving. So one of the things I've had a lot of questions about is what it's actually like post-surgery.
The queen of confidence. What's it like post-surgery, Glitter? Tell us. Tell us what it's like after. And by the way, I've looked at a few pics of her, and she's not showing her full body here. Her legs look a little bit smoother, so the liposuction itself has seemed to have been successful. But Glitter does not look any smaller overall. Like it looks like, if anything, the rest of her is maybe getting bigger.
And to be entirely candid, I did a ton of research before I went into surgery to try to prepare myself. And that research did not serve me because what I've learned is everybody's recovery experience is going to be a little bit different based on your...
Thank you. Her neck, it seems, maybe she's hoping it'll finally go to her chest. But however she does it, but eventually the fat has to go somewhere else.
Body, based on your lifestyle, based on just a lot of things. But what I can share with you is how my journey went, and hopefully it will help you feel more comfortable or at least more prepared for your own journey. So the first report after surgery, I felt freaking great. Guys, I'm one day out of surgery and I am dancing.
You know something, now for your foodie, that's not going to help because foodies starts at over 400 pounds. But as long as you're under 400 pounds to start, which I'm sure you are, I'm sure you are. But seriously though, getting a scale is not a bad thing to get. Just don't drive yourself crazy checking it every 5 minutes, right? But otherwise, it's a good thing to have. Her legs are a little smoother, but the rest of her is just as big. Oh, maybe that's part of it. Name omitted. I didn't even consider that. That would make sense, though.
With my nerves. Hey, so intelligent. It's burnt in my mind. And I don't know how I feel this good, but it's like a lot of pain is gone.
She doesn't know how she feels this good, but a lot of pain is gone. All right. Nothing wrong with if you get surgery and you're in pain, you take some painkillers to help with the pain. I can understand that. That's if that's what you have to do, it's what you have to do. But if you're taking all these painkillers and you're getting all high and dancing around and having a good old time, that's being a little irresponsible, especially when you're going to keep getting these surgeries again and again and again. When is she going to have any time to get away from these pills?
And I feel freaking amazing, and I just want to move. And that was for a couple of reasons. One, I still had a lot of drugs in my body. And let's just be honest about that. You don't just magically not have anesthesia anymore when they stop putting it in your body. It does linger for a little while. Additionally, I went into surgery with a
I am always in favor of people wearing all the appropriate undergarments.
lot of pain. I was kind of limping,
Men and women.
when walking when I went into surgery. So having a lot of that fibrosis removed from my knee actually made my pain post-surgery less than it was.
Ah, okay, because they removed the fibrosis from her knee? How does that work? The fibrosis from her knee? So she wants to say that because they removed some fat from her leg, now her knee stopped hurting? That makes absolutely no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. None. That makes no sense. We removed fibrosis from your knee? Huh?
Was going into surgery. And what was really wild is I felt that almost immediately. The flexibility of my knee was greater. So I think it made my first 24 hours just like really great because my pain tolerance was basically accustomed to something much more unbearable. So the pain I was feeling was like, nothing.
Yeah, she's so tough. That's what it is. She's just so darn tough. She's so used to so much pain. Like it just, like the pain that would normally cripple somebody else, that's no big deal for Anna because she's just that tough. And so when they took away that excruciating pain that she lives with every day, which is no big deal for her, but when they took that away, she just wanted to dance for joy because, you know, the rest of you folks wouldn't know what it's like to have that much pain. And just have it all removed that quickly when they removed the fibrosis from her knee? Huh?
One thing that they kind of prepare you for is that the first 48 hours past your surgery, you need help. Now that either needs to be a friend or a family member, or you can hire a CNA to kind of help you with everything. I chose a nurse and I'm very glad that I did. Now in the first 48 hours, I leaked.
She's doing, every time she gets surgery, she's doing this, she's turning it into a vacation where she hires the nurse to come and get her ice cream so she can lay in bed for 3 days taking pain pills.
A lot, and especially in the first 24. Like there were times where I just sat on the bed and water just gushed out of me. One of the things that was very
That's beautiful, Glitter and Lasers. And I'm sure she's telling us only because she has to. No, she's telling us this because she wants us to know how horrible it was. But she's so tough, it was no big deal for her.
hard for me in the first 24 hours is that water just gushed out of me. One of the things that was very times where I just sat on the bed and water just gushed out of me.
Water just gushed out of me.
There were times where I just sat on the bed and water just gushed out of me.
That is just such a clip.
Like there were times where I just sat on the bed and water just gushed out of me.
If any of you remember anything, if you remember Anna for anything, remember her for this.
There were times where I just sat on the bed and water just gushed out of me.
She's not talking about after surgery.
One of the things that was very hard for me in the first 24 hours is that I could not be alone. There was someone kind of watching over me all the time. When I had to get up, if I had to go to the bathroom, I could not go to the bathroom alone. I had to have someone help me to the bathroom.
Is she talking about after surgery or normally? Because I'm not really, I think she's trying to act like this is only because of the surgery. I think she just wanted somebody to help her use the toilet. She's like, yay, you can have somebody help me go to the potty.
And that's just because I'm a fall risk. I have a lot of stuff in my
You're always a fall risk. What is?
body. I'm leaking.
She's leaking. Well, you're going to be leaking in the toilet.
You just have to make sure you're safe. With that, I also did a lot of movement in the first 24 hours. When I shared this
Ouch.
on Instagram, a lot of people
Hope that was a while ago, Nutty.
reacted like, oh my goodness, you should be resting. And actually, no, you should not be resting. You also shouldn't be running a marathon. But in the first 24 hours and really through the rest of your recovery, movement is really
She
important.
probably had terrible knees from all that lunges that she used to do, all the running that she claims to have done. But the only thing wrong with her knee, as far as the liposuction correcting it, was the fat that was hanging over the front of it. I don't think that was causing pain. I don't see how that could cause pain. Like a lump of fat, I guess the weight could cause pain, or maybe the pressure on like the skin, pulling the skin too tight. But just having fat is not inherently painful. If that was the case, everybody's boobs would hurt, right?
And that's low impact, simple movement like walking. For me, We ended up putting on some good tunes. And because I was leaking, it was really difficult to like go for a walk, especially that first 24 hours, you're just leaking a lot. So we just put on some tunes and I stood literally over a pad and I just did this shuffle back and forth, which was like walking, but also like dancing. So whatever.
So she was dancing because she had to. She's just so quirky and unique. She was supposed to keep moving, so she turned it into a dance.
The music was, I just kind of danced to the beat. And honestly, it was fun.
No, Glitter, you may have danced, but no way in hell did you dance to the beat. You have absolutely no rhythm.
24 hours after surgery, you get your first manual lymphatic drainage. We're going to get our manual lymphatic drainage. And that is where they basically help your lymphatic system process all the inflammation so it can...
Thank you, Nirvana. She's claiming all of this fluid's leaking out of her, but these sheets don't look dirty or soiled. I mean, did they change the sheets over in the middle of the night? I mean, where did all this fluid go? I mean, I guess they did change them. She has a full-time nurse, but you'd think there would be some evidence of all this disgustingness.
Naturally just like come out of you.
Ready? Ready.
Hopefully. I feel fantastic.
That's good. I like that. Yeah. And I like.
Thank you. If she's a fall risk, why was she doing all this dancing without standing next to something that she could hold on to if she fell? If she's a fall risk and she's supposed to keep walking, why didn't they have her do some walking next to, what do they call those things? Those poles they put on the wall that you could hold on to? Why didn't they have her next to something that she could hold on to if she fell?
That you're drinking.
Oh, we are 2 liters in today.
Oh, awesome.
Did 3 liters yesterday.
That is awesome. I love it.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Elizu. No, I get what she's saying. I get what you're saying. I mean, her doctor calls every part of all of her fat, he calls it all fibrosis. He says this is all fibrotic tissue here. I think they have a very loose definition of fibrosis in that clinic.
Who you guys just met.
Hi.
And she's going to be doing my manual lymphatic drainage. She's going to help like activate my lymphatic system and help me process all the extra juicy that's inside of me. So it's going to get a little...
She loves talking about all the juices inside of her. Look at how the nurse is cringing. Look at her. We talk about Anna being the queen of cringe. Pearl Domingo here is cringing. She's cringing for us. This is thank you, Pearl. You know what we all talk about. Let's go back and watch it again. So let's look at Pearl's face as Anna describes her situation.
It's going to help like activate my lymphatic system and help me process all the extra juicy that's inside of me. So it's going to get a little nasty.
Look at her face. She slowly starts to cringe as she realizes who she's dealing with.
I've been a nasty girl, but it's gonna make me feel fantastic. I already feel really great, so
right, which is awesome.
Like I'm living my best life. That's where I'm at right now.
Yes, it's a whole new beginning.
Look at that! Look at those eyes looking at her. Pearl is not impressed.
Well, I think it's because I was in a lot of pain before, so whatever I'm in right now, like, is not comparable to like what I was previously.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole change for
like
those frames are a joke. Those frames that she uses. She gets those giant frames. They look like those glasses that you would put on a giant teddy bear. You know what I mean? Like if you had like a giant Donald Duck wearing glasses, those are the glasses you would put on it.
Over the next kind of like 4 days, that's how I lived, right? Get up in the morning, go to MLD. Sometimes I would have bandaging, sometimes I don't. And I'm going to be doing a whole video on bandaging, so I'm not going to talk on it right here.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense then. That makes
up,
sense. The pee pads seem like a good idea.
Go for a walk, go to MLD, come home and sleep, go for another
Yes, thank
walk
you. Rails. My brain was not working there for a moment. Yeah, I think I guess you'd call them rails. Just those things like they have in the handicap bathroom. They have those rails on the wall. In a hospital bed or wherever she was staying, you think they would have something like that nearby that she could hold on to if she
could. But I was making sure to eat regular meals and just drink so much water. And honestly, if you want to recover.
Well, I'll admit, I'm not an expert on fibrosis. I suppose that some of it may have. The doctor called everything fibrosis. Chances are it's probably a mix. There's probably some fibrotic tissue in there. It's probably just some healthy fat. But only he knows for sure, I guess.
Well, that would be the one thing I would say is just drink as much water as you possibly can. It will feel like too much. It is never enough.
All right, that sounds reasonable to me too.
So we had some big firsts this morning. I took Data for a walk, which was really nice. And now I'm going to go eat breakfast out of the hotel room, which I've been literally.
Agreed, Nirvana. She went on a walk with her dog. I mean, first of all, it's good if she's being active after the surgery, and that's a good thing. That's great. But like a lot of us have pointed out, this seems to be performative, and it also seems to be based upon her taking a lot of pills. And going downstairs for all-you-can-eat breakfast, that doesn't seem like a smart idea when you're getting liposuction.
Living in that for the last couple days, and I'm over it. So I'm gonna go try to rejoin society and have a delicious breakfast, but still drink my electrolytes because I'm not allowed to have any fun juice. I miss coffee. Okay, so
She's drinking her electrolytes because she's not allowed to have any fun juice. Does she mean coffee or does she mean whiskey?
I've done it. I've come down to breakfast, and I am sitting upright, like in an upright position for the first time in 3 days, and it feels actually really good. So I'm gonna try to do more of this. I might try to clear up that bench in the room and try to like sit in the bench and work, which is sad, but you know what? It's something to keep me upright, but I feel good. I feel really good. After I kind of got through this process,
That's a good question, Oranges. I don't think Anna will because Anna hasn't actually lost any weight. So I don't think she can get loose skin unless she loses some weight. But if she lost weight, she could get loose skin.
Got to the point where A, I could care for myself, and B, I was ready for my first shower. Showering for the first time, it is a whole thing. That is the easiest way to say it. It's a whole thing. First of all, you've been in compression for 24/7, and anytime you've been out of it, you've been with nurses who are helping you in and out of the garment. Okay? You are a faint risk. And probably the most common thing I see post-surgeries that people talk about is fainting, taking off
Yeah, right? She likes to mix it.
the garment for the first shower.
What was that?
Luckily,
About the
I
first
was
shower?
prepared.
No wonder her hair looked kind of dirty.
Probably the most common thing I see post-surgeries that people talk about is fainting, taking off the garment for the first shower.
Sounds a little bit scary, actually.
Luckily, I was prepared for this and I knew how to do it so I wouldn't faint. So I'll just tell you what I did. Hopefully it'll work for you too. First, drink a whole bunch of water 2 hours before you actually plan to shower. A lot of the fainting risk is due to dehydration and also changes in blood pressure, and you can just help yourself mitigate that by drinking a lot of water. When I took my garment off, I took it off slowly and I immediately laid down. I did not go directly to the shower. I laid down for about 10 minutes to let my body just stabilize.
Okay, this is confusing. So she drank extra water and she had to drink water and wait 10 more minutes before taking off. Like, I mean, I guess, but just seems like, wouldn't you be drinking a lot of water anyway? I mean, either way, it just sounds kind of, I mean, if that's what you're supposed to do, it's what you're supposed to do.
Not having the garment on. Once I had been rested for about 10 minutes, I then went to the shower. I showered in cold as hell water, like as cold as you can possibly get it. If you're not screaming when you get under the water coming down, you're not doing it right. A, it's
As
gonna
cold as the depths of Anna's soul.
keep you awake. B, it's going to work with your lymphatic system, not piss it off, because hot water really can make your body angry. And you'll see often with autoimmune disorders, like bathing in cold water is ideal, right? So took the shower in cold water, immediately went back to bed, immediately went back and laid down. I did not try to put my garment on right away. I dried off in bed, laying down, prostrate like this, drinking water.
Just drinking water. Okay, that's good. That's good. This part of it sounds believable, at least.
Drink the water, always the water.
I mean, I could believe Anna took a shower. I mean, I guess, eventually I could believe she eventually took a shower and then drank a bunch of water and laid in bed. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
And then once I was dry and I felt okay, like I hadn't expended too much energy, I sat and put my compression garments on to my knees, rested again, then pulled them all the way up. Then, you know what I did right after that? I rested some more. So the key to not fainting is just very slowly going through the process. As you heal, this actual procedure isn't
key to not fainting. I'm interested to know though, what causes the fainting though? Is it blood pressure? Is it pain? Like why do you faint? Like I'm interested to know why she would experience fainting. I mean, if she explained it and I missed it, maybe somebody could mention it in the chat. But I don't think I caught why she would why you would faint after the surgery. Like what causes that precisely?
Necessary, but in the first 10 days, if you're going to shower, this probably is what you should do. I took my first shower at day 4, and I followed the same strategy when I showered again, I think on day 7 and day 10. After day 10, I no longer kind of followed all this protocol.
After day 10, she quit showering. She's like, okay, that's it. We got, I think I've done this enough.
One thing I'm going to definitely do different in my next surgeries is prep my bed before I go. Because it's really hard when you push yourself on, you know, your first airline travel, which does like make you swell, to come home, be tired, be sore, be exhausted, and then also have to put together your bed. A typical bed preparing, if you're still leaking, is a plastic sheet and then using different pee pads on top.
Okay, so that's what she had to use. Okay, well, that adds some more believability to her story, but I'm surprised she didn't mention that part earlier because she was talking about leaking all the fluid. I mean, it makes sense to say, hey, you know, be sure to put some pads down in your bed before you do anything else because you may have some drainage.
I leaked for about 2 days after when I came home. Some people leak for a very long time. Some people heal very quickly. It just depends on your body. One of the hardest things that I would say you need to do, and you need to do this well beyond, like well before your surgery, is to find a massage therapist with the right credentials to actually do your bandaging and your MLD therapy after. I luckily found an amazing person, Leah from Love Lymph Club. If you don't follow her and you want to learn about lymphatics, she's amazing and I absolutely adore her. And has really been an amazing part of my journey this far.
And she lets you put your foot on her chest.
So finding that specialist before and making...
I mean, if that's a normal thing for massage, all right. But that just seems like kind of awkward. Like, wouldn't it be better to have like a little stool to put her foot on or something instead of having to letting her put her foot right on your chest like that? I don't know. That just feels weird.
You get on their calendar. I would do it as soon as you know you have the surgery date, honestly, because there's far more demand for these services than there are actual practitioners, is what I found. So just get on that calendar as soon as you can. One thing I didn't know about the bandages, because my bandages did not fall down while I was recovering in the first week, is when they fall down is when you can change your garment. So I had a literal panic attack the first time my bandages fell because I was like, what is going on? And Leah was like, no, don't stress. That just means it's time for you to switch back into regular compression.
She had a literal panic attack when her bandages came off, even though she spoke to a nurse. It sounds like her nurse was actually present at the time. Everything's a crisis with Anna.
Additionally, I was supposed to walk, but not too much, which is also a hard thing.
She's supposed to walk, but not too much. That's a hard thing for her because she just loves to walk so much. She's just so active, you know?
Right? Like I'm used to walking a lot. It's an important part of my day.
Yeah,
so
she loves to walk. She's always so active, and the doctor told her not to walk so much, and so but that's really hard for her because she just loves to be so active and walk a lot, you know.
I was literally having to like schedule quarter-mile walks 4 times a day, and I'm going to tell you what, it's just not very fulfilling. I'd rather just do a mile walk,
right? Like anything less than a mile just doesn't even. It's like what's even the point? Don't even. It's not even gonna. You know, she doesn't even get out of bed for less than a mile.
Or 2 miles walk.
2 miles, right? At least 2 miles. If she walks 2 miles on a daily basis, isn't a 5K only like 2.5 miles? So why was it such a big deal for her to do a 5K if she walks 2 miles every day? Can somebody explain that in the chat? Because I'm not a runner. How does that work? If she can walk 2 miles daily, regularly, how come she could barely finish a 5K after a month of practice?
The point is that you're trying to get your lymphatic system moving every time you walk. And if you're doing it just once a day, well, then you aren't getting as much of that movement because you're only moving it once a day. So it's better to do multiple short walks than one long walk. So we're going to take a walk. This is both my favorite and least favorite thing I do.
As much as I hate to say anything that could be construed as positive about Anna, if I had to be one Anna or Foodie, I would kind of have to choose Anna. But that's only because who wants to be Foodie? Come on. Like, right? Like, yeah, that's a devil's bargain.
Each day because it feels good, but also it's so hot. So this is where I walk, and I love it because it's got all these wildflowers. So even though it's hot and terrible, at least I get to look at
They'll stick with a bottle. They're going to sit on her back and hang it in front of her face.
something pretty while I'm doing it. Plus, Data loves this because it's like a sniff safari.
A sniff safari. He doesn't have to leave home for that, Anna. But I'm going to say, you know what I have to say, though, about Anna getting on this trail? Good job getting out there.
He walks slow so I can keep up, and I think it's the cutest thing ever. It's okay, buddy. You can go ahead.
Week 4 is where you kind of get your life back. But what kind of sucks for me is I know I'm going back into another surgery, right?
Yeah, it sucks for her to know she's going to have to go back in for yet another surgery, get more fat removed, get more painkillers, get waited on hands and foot by a nurse, have to get all that attention, have to get all that sympathy online. I hate it so much.
So I don't really get to resume everything because I also need to prep and prepare for the next surgery. So that means not pushing myself too hard that I get sick or that I'm not in the best physical shape for my next surgery. But what I did choose to do during week 4, which I think was really, really smart, was to find creative ways to move, right? To start introducing movement that maybe had been off limits due to the intensity or the length before. But
The thing is about Anna, though, I believe Anna's getting surgery, but I don't believe Anna's taking any real steps to help herself because she's had liposuction. She's had, in her own words, like 30 plus pounds of fat and fluid removed, but she's actually gained weight somehow. So I don't think she's really making any real effort. I think she just has better production values. You know, I think she's better at portraying a lifestyle than Foodie is, but I don't think she's living that lifestyle that she portrays, at least not to the extent she portrays it. That's my belief.
Ways that still met my protocol. So I started finding fun places to walk, things like the mall, Michael's, Costco, Walmart. And you know what? You can wait.
The dancing she does it's always, you notice there's never any music going on when she's dancing, or there rarely is music because she never dances to any kind of a beat. Anna has absolutely no rhythm. She doesn't have any sense of timing, and if there's music on, it's like the music is her enemy. She's doing everything she can to get away from the beat.
Waste a lot of time and walk slowly and see lots of weird things that you don't need and then subsequently buy because, again, you're emotional.
That's a good point. If the heat is really bad, the dog should not be walking around on the heated up ground.
And you don't have the same self-control you normally have. And that became really fun for me. I also loved when my incisions healed because then I was able to go into the pool. Did I have to wear compression under my swimsuit? Yes. But being in the pool was the most magical thing for me because it felt like getting a piece of what I love most back. And really one of the reasons
To explode away the dirt, explode the funk away.
Doing these surgeries is to be able to be outside and explore nature more. So it's not exactly what I wanted, but it gave me the ability to.
Agreed, Net Detective. She should, it's important to take it easy. You don't want to work out too hard. So, I mean, there's a balance. You want to get exercise, but you don't want to stress your body unnecessarily. So there's like a range that you want to stay within. So I agree with that.
Be outside.
Welcome in, Net Detective, by the way.
And I did feel like a massive mood shift when I could be in the sun again. Around 4 weeks, I found myself like a lot more mentally clear as well. So a lot of that fuzziness that I had before kind of started to, dissipate. And I also found myself thinking of ways to like sustain what I'd done. So I started looking into more like conservative treatments and things like that. So I got one of those vibration boards. I got a trampoline. Obviously, nice. I'd been on a waiting list for a tactile pump, which is like the big pump.
She got a trampoline. First of all, I hope she doesn't have downstairs neighbors. Number 2, I cannot imagine there's a trampoline rated for her weight. I just can't imagine it. If there is, it would have to be massive.
It goes on your leg.
I mean, it's good that she's getting these compression treatments and all this, but why didn't she do any of this before getting surgery? I mean, she claims that she did, but we've never actually seen her do any of this stuff till now.
And mimics MLD that you use every day. So I got fit for that.
Oh, oranges. That's an excellent point. I didn't even consider that. She's wearing all these pads because she's leaking fluid and she's getting into the pool? That cannot be sanitary. That cannot be safe and sanitary. She should absolutely not be in the pool if she has all those open wounds.
Really facing the fact that my lifestyle for the rest of my life was going to have to change. That was really positive in some ways, but also very difficult. And I think, I'm going to be honest, I was a little delusional. I went into surgery with the mental thought that once all the surgeries would be done, I would be magically healed and I would not have to do all of the things I was doing previously. And
all the things she's doing previously. So now Anna is rewriting history. Anna is rewriting her history. She is now the Lie-adema warrior. She has been the Lie-adema warrior for years now. She has been betrayed by her body. She has no burnable fat, you see. And she has been doing these kind of compression treatments, these so-called conservative treatments, wearing the compression garments, wearing the pump, doing all those things for her lipedema because she cares so much about helping herself. No, don't let her fool you. She has not started doing any of this stuff until after getting the surgery. At least she has never had any evidence of any of it until now.
That is just not the reality. So kind of that 4-week period, I started making plans for long-term care. What I would need to do, what I would need to invest in. And I want people to realize that like, that is a very emotionally difficult journey. I don't think I can do it justice in this video, but I think when you get the diagnosis, you hear about surgery and you think that's my magical solution. But it is literally only the beginning of how your life is going to have to change in managing this. And I was doing other conservative treatments before. I know I didn't always share it on camera, and there was a reason I didn't share it on.
Yeah, she didn't share it on camera, folks. She was doing it. Trust it. Just trust me. She was doing it. She was absolutely doing it, just not on camera. Because she puts her entire life on camera, but not that.
Camera, and I don't really give a crap what anyone says about it, but the reality is I wasn't comfortable being the poster child for lipedema. I knew
she wasn't comfortable being the poster. She was comfortable being the workout queen. She was comfortable being the diet queen, but she wasn't comfortable being the treatment program for lipedema. I don't buy this. I don't buy this. Anna is the queen of cringe. She has no shame. There's nothing she won't do if she thinks she can make $1 doing it. I think the only reason she never bothered to do this lipedema treatment is 1, because she was lazy, and 2, because she had no sponsorship deals.
as soon as I started talking about how I treated it or lived with it or how it affected my life, that I would get a sticker slapped on my forehead. I did not feel informed enough to educate people. And I just felt overwhelmed with the condition itself. I have many, many clips over the years of literally me crying, begging John to turn the camera off because I hurt, because I've swollen. I have videos of me bandaging my leg in a hotel, which was like 3 years ago in Hawaii because my leg swelled. That also happened in various other places. So
this is not the same thing as actually doing these treatments for years. Getting your leg bandaged once because it was swollen up. I mean, your leg is going to swell every time you go on the plane because you have high blood pressure, and I think you also have lymphedema as well as lipedema. We forget that. But Anna also has lymphedema to an extent, I believe, or at least she has in the past. She's had various kinds of swelling. But just because she's experienced pain does not... She wants to talk, but okay, fine. If you have all this stuff, then show it. But I don't think it's going to show what she wants us to think.
I've been traveling with compression. I have been doing a lot of these things for a while. And I would say not everything, clearly not everything, because there's a lot of things I've had to add. But I think Anna has some things going for her. I think the fact that she's tall, if she lost the weight, I think she'd have an okay shape. But she's just so darn big that, but more importantly than any of that, we always talk about personality and things like that. To me, Anna could be the most beautiful woman in the world, and I would still not be able to spend 2 seconds with her. I can deal with these things. I've been doing them for years, but to know that even the compression and the bandaging and the socks and the changes in my diet and, the Wegovy, which helped with inflammation for me, that was still only 25%. Having to deal with all of this with the added pressure of people having a ton of opinions about my choices, my journey, what I have and have not done, it sucks. Frankly, it sucks. But I believe educating people on this journey and educating people about this condition is important.
Anna says, oh, it sucks so bad. But this is how you make your living, Anna. Don't complain. You make a living doing this. If this was your private videos and people were pulling them up to watch, and these were just your personal videos and you made no money from them, I would have a lot of sympathy for you. But you're the one who posts these videos. You want to get as many views as possible, and you do everything you can to monetize your audience feeling sympathy towards you. You do everything you can to make yourself look like a victim of so-called haters so that you can get sympathy bucks from the audience, buying your various things that you sell. And I don't know. Maybe I'm off topic at this point, but I just don't like Anna now. I've had enough of this lady. She bothers me. She feels very fake and fraudulent, and she's portraying a very unhealthy lifestyle.
Because I am stage 4. That is bad. And I hope that I can help women who are in stage 2 get treatment before they have to deal with all the bullshit I have to deal with. Because candidly, if I had dealt with this 10 years ago, I may not have to do all these extra things. But now my life and my abilities are going to be diminished. And that is a hard thing for me to swallow. I am still holding out for the
That'd be the first thing you ever had trouble swallowing.
fact that maybe I have some miracle recovery, but I may not. And that's because I didn't deal with it sooner. And I also am very aware that because of the way healthcare works in not only the US, but many other countries.
Is that a leak? What is that black spot at the bottom of the screen?
Many people are not able to manage their condition. And I also hope that by making
Is that a leak? I think that's a leak.
videos like this, that changes as well.
Ugh.
And I hope to be an advocate for that to change, because it's frankly ridiculous that our healthcare system will pay for a gastric bypass, will pay for a knee replacement, will pay for vein surgery, when they literally could just treat the root problem, which is lipedema.
They could treat the root problem, which is lipid. No, the root problem is your diet. The root problem is your diet. You're going to have more lipedema, Anna. Anna doesn't seem to understand that you're not born with lipedema. It develops over time, and you're going to get more lipedema, Anna. The rest of the fat on your body is going to turn into lipedema because you're going to keep getting fatter. The government cannot solve lipedema with liposuction. That's not going to work. It's not working for you. You're the proof. You're just getting bigger. You haven't lost any weight. And it's just so absurd that she believes that the solution is we need more funding to buy more liposuction for people. That's the problem. The government's wasting time buying people, helping people to lose weight, buying them things like gastric surgery so they can lose weight. No, that's a waste of time. What they really need is more liposuction so they can be just like Anna. And
So there's a lot of things I'm sure I didn't answer. And if you have any questions, leave them down below, and I will be talking about this throughout my surgery, so I can definitely answer them. But with that, guys, I'm done. I'll check you later. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And you know what? I was going to say peace, but I feel like that is super lame now. I'm over it. I've grown beyond the peace. So you know what? I'm just going to say have a nice day. Have a nice day.
All right. That was just so disgusting, right? And I'll tell you right now, I understand she doesn't want to hide the disgusting nature of the human body at times, but is that really something she needs to share? I don't know at this point. I don't even want to know. Yeah, agreed. All right, everybody. I think that's a perfect time to end it for the evening. I think this has been a pretty fun show tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me put on my little bit of music, and I'm going to say goodnight and see you folks out and see if I can send you off somewhere.